Hey friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share What's for Dinner videos like this every Monday to hopefully motivate you to cook more for your family and give you some meal inspiration. As always, any recipes that I mention are linked in the description box down below. Real quick before we get into today's video, I wanted to let you guys know I will not have a What's for Dinner next week. We are leaving and going to Georgia for a week, and we're leaving on Saturday, and so I don't think I'll be able to get next week's edited and uploaded before we go. We've got a busy week ahead, so just want to let you know, no new videos next week. You'll have to wait till we get back for me to get that edited and uploaded for you guys. I will still have a grocery haul video this Wednesday, and then I may have a vlog for y'all on Sunday if I can get it edited before we leave. So just a heads up, don't worry, we'll be fine. I'll probably post and let y'all know when we make it to Georgia, and we will be vlogging that trip. Just wanted to let you guys know that real quick. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Starting off with Friday night, we had some barbecue chicken legs. I have thrown the chicken legs here in a Ziploc bag and I am seasoning them all over with whatever I like. I think I did some Tony's Grill seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, some pepper and paprika, and then I tossed them in that Ziploc bag until everything was coated really well. And then typically I would do these in the air fryer, but to be honest, I don't think I did the dishes the night before and my air fryer basket was dirty, so I did these in the oven. They didn't crisp up as much as I wanted them to, but they got pretty good. I put a piece of parchment paper on a sheet pan and then topped it with a little baking rack thing, and then spritzed it with some oil, put the chicken legs on there, and put these in the oven on 425 for I think it was 35 minutes. When they came out, I used my thermometer to check the internal temperature. I only checked the biggest ones just to make sure they were done, and they were. So then I coated all of them with some barbecue sauce and then stuck these back in the oven under the broiler for about 5 minutes. And then they came out all nice and browned and sticky and bubbly, and they were delicious. I served them with some corn, which I also typically do in the air fryer, but again, it was dirty, so I wrapped it in foil and stuck it in the oven. And then we also had some Instant Pot mac and cheese, which is delicious, and I will leave a video down below where I have made that. Saturday we had Cowboy Beans, which is definitely a family favorite. The recipe originally comes from my friend Jess over at Jess and the Boys. I always link her channel down below when I make it, but a video of me making it in depth will also be linked down below. We always have some sort of bread with it. I did Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits this time because I have a bunch of boxes that I picked up on a buy nothing group from somebody who was getting rid of them. And then we had some sliced tomato on the side for those of us that like tomato, and I think Elijah just had some peppers and carrots on the side. This next recipe is something new that we were trying. I have made Marry Me chicken pasta in the past, but this one is a high protein Marry Me chicken pasta that I saw on the Lemonade app, and it didn't have exact measurements, so I'm just kind of winging it. Starting off with some diced chicken breast, and I have seasoned it all over with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, and I am just cooking that until it is completely cooked through. And then I'm going to remove it from the pan and add a little bit of oil from a jar of sun-dried tomatoes, probably about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. I didn't really measure it. And then I'm going to add in some diced onion and cook that up for quite a while until it has gotten really tender. Then I'm going to add in some garlic. I am using garlic paste because I bought it at Aldi and it's super easy and convenient. So I added that in, sauteed it for 30 seconds, and then I'm adding in some chicken broth, and I'm adding it in slowly and kind of scraping the bits off the bottom of the pan. And I did probably about 1.5 cups of chicken broth. I'm continuing to scrape those bits off the bottom, and then I'm also adding in some Greek yogurt. This is plain Greek yogurt, and this is where it makes it high protein. Instead of using heavy whipping cream or something, you're using high protein plain Greek yogurt. I'm also adding in 1/2 jar of sun-dried tomatoes and then some basil paste because, again, super easy and convenient. Then I'm going to whisk this together and continue cooking it over a medium-low heat, letting it simmer for probably about 10 minutes. It's going to thicken up just a little bit. It's going to reduce down, and once it has done that, I am going to add in some spinach. This was not in the recipe, but you know, I like to add spinach in where I can because it helps add some more vegetables into our diet. Let that wilt down for about a minute, and then I'm also adding in my chicken and giving that a good stir. And then I'm adding in some pasta. I probably should have only done half a box of rotini, but instead I did the whole box. So if you want this a little bit more saucy, I would suggest doing only half a box, but it turned out really good. It wasn't as like rich and creamy as other Mary pastas. And I mean, that's partially because I didn't use heavy whipping cream. I used the Greek yogurt instead. So it was kind of lighter. And I also added in some grated Parmesan cheese. And this was delicious. I will definitely make it again. Everybody loved it. And yeah, I would highly recommend it. Monday night, I pulled out some barbecue pulled pork that I had in the freezer, and I made barbecue pulled pork flatbreads. One of these is using the Devil Spit barbecue sauce from Famous Dave's, and one of them is using like the gold barbecue sauce from Aldi, and both are really good. The Devil Spit one is pretty spicy. We had salad on the side for those of us that like salad, and then of course just some sliced tomatoes and other veggies for Lily. Tuesday, I made Enchilada Bake, and this is a recipe that is on my channel with its own separate video, but I used to make it differently. I used to make it with flour tortillas, and now I make it with corn. So I'm going to show it step by step because we're also doing something different this time as well. So I'm starting off by browning a pound of ground beef with some taco seasoning, and then we're also trying lentils for the first time. So I'm going to cook those up in my Instant Pot. If you have any tips for lentils, let me know down below. The recipe I saw to make them quick and easy in the Instant Pot was just to add half a cup of lentils to the Instant Pot with a cup of water and a little bit of salt and pressure cook it for 9 minutes and then do a quick release. While that was cooking, I kept continuing to work on my ground beef. Once it was done, I let it simmer with some more taco seasoning and a can of Rotel. And then I'm going to do the same thing to my lentils when they're done. I drained them and rinsed them because that's what the recipe said to do. And then I added taco seasoning and only half a can of Rotel to the lentils because I didn't make a lot of lentils. And I let that simmer for a few minutes to flavor them. And then I'm going to start assembling the enchilada bake. And I do a little bit of enchilada sauce in the bottom of the casserole dish that I have greased. And then I do some corn tortillas, some meat, some cheese, more tortillas, enchilada sauce, meat, cheese, until I have completed the number of layers and used all of the meat. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but with lentils. I've got a little cake pan here. I'm doing one little stack. I've got some enchilada sauce, then the lentils on top of a corn tortilla, some cheese, another corn tortilla, some enchilada sauce, the rest of the lentils, some cheese, one more tortilla, and some enchilada sauce and cheese on top. And then this is ready to go in the oven. I put them in the oven on 375 for 30 minutes. Here's what they look like. And we each had a little bit of both. Here's Andy's with some pico de gallo all over the top of both. And then some cheese dip and salsa on the side as well, and chips. And we all kind of liked the lentils. I think we would like them better if I just like use some lentils mixed in with ground beef, but yeah, I think we like lentils. So we'll probably eat them more often, especially like mixed in with ground meats. I feel like it's really easy to hide. There was a little bit of leftover lentils that the kids ate the next day with some nachos. I think that they really enjoyed them most of all. I feel like it's easier for them to adjust to new things, like especially like meat substitutes. I don't know. I feel like it's easier for their taste buds, at least in my house. Wednesday, we had chicken cheesesteaks. This is a pretty easy meal. You have to cut up some vegetables and chicken, but other than that, it comes together pretty quickly. So I've got some peppers here that I've sliced up and some onion, and I've got them in my hot cast iron skillet where I've heated up some oil, and I'm just going to season those with a little bit of salt and pepper and cook them until they're tender. Once they're mostly tender, I'm going to push them to one side of the pan and then add my chicken to the pan. And I'm going to cook that with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and then like this steak seasoning from Aldi. It's like the Montreal steak seasoning from McCormick, and it adds a nice flavor to the chicken. So then I just continue cooking that over a medium-high heat until the chicken is completely done. Once it's pretty done, I mix everything together and let it finish like cooking and like browning up a little bit. At this point, I also add in about a tablespoon or two of butter and just let that melt over everything. It adds a little bit of extra flavor and makes it even more delicious. And then it's time to make our sandwiches. I got some sub rolls, add on a little bit of mayonnaise, and then some chicken and peppers. Elijah didn't want any peppers on his sandwich, so he's just got chicken and onions, and he did want peppers like on the side. And then I am topping it with some American cheese, and then I stuck these in the air fryer for like 5 minutes to melt the cheese and toast the bread a little bit. And to go with it, we had some fries on the side. I feel like people always think of like Philly cheesesteaks and they don't remember that you can also do like chicken cheesesteaks, and they're really good as well, and chicken is way cheaper than steak. And I think that's why we started making them originally, because Andy was like, I want a cheesesteak, and I was like, but steak is expensive. And so then we make chicken cheesesteaks, and they're pretty tasty. And finally, the last meal of the week is spaghetti, just regular ground beef spaghetti with Aldi marinara sauce, spaghetti pasta, and then a bag of steamed broccoli that I tossed in some Chef Shammy's garlic butter and some Parmesan cheese. Served it with some Parmesan cheese on top, and that is dinner. It's always a family favorite with my family. Everybody loves it besides me. I tolerate spaghetti, but it's something that I know I can throw together like quickly and everybody will be happy. And now it's time for our weekly member shout outs. Every week I shout out to my members. So thank you so much for being channel members and supporting my family and my channel in an additional way. It really means a lot that 22 of you now, I think it's 22, have chosen to support me and my family in an additional way. If you don't know, you can become a channel member for $1.99 a month, and I get a good portion of that. I think I get like 70% of that. And then you get some extra perks and you get to help me out. You get some behind the scenes like photos sometimes, like I'll share a picture of Rex or like what I'm working on when I'm working on like videos. You get those emojis that you see on the screen. I'm trying to work on more, but my life has just been crazy and busy. You also get weekly member shout outs and a couple other perks. But if you are interested in joining, it's down below next to my name and the subscribe button. You should see a join button. If you don't, go to like your Google Chrome browser and log into YouTube there, and then it should be there. But that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. Again, thank you to my channel members, and thank you to all of you who are watching and made it here all the way to the end. If you made it here, let me know in the comments down below if you plan on trying any of these recipes that I made this week, and also leave me a smiley face emoji down there in the comments as well. I hope you'll have a great week, and don't forget, I will not have a new video next week. It's gonna be me on vacation, so I might like post a little reminder and share the What's for Dinner playlist so y'all can check that out. There's nearing 400 What's for Dinner videos here on my channel on YouTube, so go back and watch some old ones to help support me next week when I am on vacation. I hope you'll have a great week, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye!